Good morning, children. This is English video session for class 10. We are now doing the first flight textbook, and the chapter number is 6, the 100 dresses, and part 2. Yesterday we saw about the Petronsky's letter, which Miss Mason read in the class. After the letter was read out, Maddie felt that she has to go to the Boggin Heights, meet her. She would also take Peg with her. So, after the class is over, even Peg said that she would also join the. Let's go and see if the kid had not left the town or not. Okay, so both of them reached the Boggin Heights, the house. There was no life in the house. Please see that the top. I think that's where the Petronskis live, said Maddie, pointing out the little white house. Wisp of old grass stuck up here and there along the pathway, like thin kittens. The house and its spacious little yard looked shabby but clean. It reminded Maddie of Vanda's one dress, her faded blue cotton dress, shabby but clean. There was not a sign of life. Sign of life means what, children? Sign of life means somebody living in. Somebody is living there means it will be what happens, the windows will be opened, fresh air will be allowed to pass through the house, there will be movements of people inside and outside, there will be lot of noise will be coming out of the house. But here they find itself dull and closed. There was not a sign of life about the house. Peggy knocked firmly on the door, but there was no answer. She and Maddie went around to the backyard and knocked there. Still there was no answer. Okay, now let's go. They went to the back door also. They to find if anybody is there, so that they may find it working or something in the backyard. But nobody was found in the back door also. There was no doubt about it. We are in page number 76, children. There was no doubt about it. What doubt? The Petronskis were gone. How could they ever make amends? Look at the three sentences. There was no doubt about it. Doubt about what? Doubt about the Petronskis leaving the place Boggin Heights and reach the other city. That is what. The Petronskis were gone, all the family members. Not even one is remaining. All the members of the family had already gone. How could they ever make amends? What does it making? Ever make? How are they going to correct the mistake? Who are they referred here to? They are referred to the Maddie and Peggy, because they feel that they have committed a grave mistake and they wanted to say sorry if they have hurt her. They wanted to tell that her paintings are wonderful and she is really smart. Well, anyway, they turned slowly and made their way back to the hill. So, having found that they had been too late, having found that they had been too late, they just turned slowly, and what did they do? They started walking back to the hill. Well, anyway, said Peggy, she's gone now, So, what can we do? She's gone now, okay? Besides, when I was asking her about all her dresses, she probably was getting good ideas about her of her drawing. She may not have won the contest otherwise. This is another way of taking by whom Peggy. She feels every day I was asking her about the 100 dresses. This has made her make new designs and make new colorings, and that is why she was able to do so beautiful dresses. Is this appropriate, children? No, this is inappropriate on the part of Peggy to have spoken like this. Maddie turned this idea carefully over her head. Turned this idea means what? She just ruled out. She just took it away from her head. She did not consider it. She did not care about it. Turned. She turned this idea. Turned means what? No way. For if there were something in it, she would not have feel so badly. If there is anything so very genuine, if there is something so good about it, fine about it, then today Maddie would not have felt so very bad about it. Okay, but that night she could not get sleep. What happened? She could not get sleep. Who Maddie? She thought about Wanda and her faded blue dress and a little house she had lived in. Again and again, the same thing came in her mind. And she thought of the glowing pictures those 100 dresses made, all lined up in the classroom. Okay. At last she made up, sat on the bed and pressed her forehead tight in her hands and really thought. This was the hardest thinking she had ever done. After a long, long time, she reached an important conclusion. She was never going to stand by and say nothing again. She was never going to stand along with her, with whom, with Peggy, and say nothing again means what? When something is going wrong, and if Peggy is part of it, she'll make sure that she expresses it soundly. She will tell that this is not right. She will fight for it. Is that clear? If she ever heard anybody picking on someone because they were funny looking, or because they had strange names, she would speak up. So she made up her mind that in the future, if there is anybody who is being troubled, picked, taken for granted, and troubled for their funny names, funny looks, okay, then Maddie makes up her mind that she would go and fight for them, that such things will never happen again. Okay. So what happens next? Look at the word picking on someone. Please read the meaning. Even if it meant losing Peggy's friendship. So, one of the things which she always gave importance was Peggy's friendship. But today she made up her mind that even if it is in the cost of losing her friendship with Peggy, she will definitely make sure that she will speak up. She has taken a bold decision. She has made sure herself that she will never be a coward again. Let what may. She had no way of making things right with Vanda. So her mind is how to make things right with Manda. First and foremost, she thought she can go and say sorry, and she wanted to say she's smart and her dresses are wonderful. But now she's not there. She don't know where she has gone. Nothing. But from now on, she would never make anyone else that unhappy again. So, as far as her thought has ready, she made sure that she will never make anybody uneasy, unhappy because of such children picking up someone and doing up for funny names or funny looks or anything. She would not stand. She would fight for them. Okay. Look at the dress designs, children. Really beautiful ones, is it not? Can you list the important decisions made by Maggie now in the last paragraph? Yes. Now moving on to the next. On Saturday, Maddie spent that afternoon with Peggy. They were writing a letter to Wanda Petronsky. To who? To Wanda Petronsky. It was just a friendly letter telling about the contest and telling Wanda she had won. They told her how pretty her drawings were, and they asked her if she liked where she was living and if she liked her new teacher. They had meant to say they were sorry, but it ended up with just writing a friendly letter. The kind they would have written to any good friend. And they signed it with lots of excess of love. They mailed the letter to Bogin Heights, writing, "Please forward on the envelope." Okay, got it, children. Now, somehow they have to, the letter, if it reaches, it's okay. If they have given the address to someone and if it reaches, it would be verified. So, what happens is they wrote a letter. And what did they write in the letter? How to asking her about the new school, asking her about the new teacher, and how beautiful the dresses were in the context, and how she was won the competition. And the letter, towards the end of the letter, they had not what they wanted to do. That is to say, sorry, they did not do. It was like to any other friend how a letter would be written. And then what did they do? They went and came with lots of excess of love. So lots of love, lots of love, lots of love. They write and they mailed it to letter to Bogin Heights. So mailed to Bogin Heights, writing please forward. What does it mean? When it reaches the post office or the center, that it will go to the new address. Okay. Days passed. Okay. 1 day, 2 day, 3 days, 1 week, months. Days passed and there was no answer. There was no answer. There was no reply from Wanda Petronsky. But the letter did not come back. So whenever you write a letter, you write the from address. What do? You have to write the from address. So if the letter has not been reached there, it comes back to the person who it is sent. So maybe, look at the word. So maybe Wanda had received it. So possibility is there, but in between it's getting lost, it gets misplaced. Lots of ifs are there in between. Okay, there is no clarity. One possibility among the many is if she would have received it, it would have reached her and she would have received it. Possibilities are more. Many possibilities are there. In that, one possibility is she would have received. Okay, chances are less, as well as more. We can't say. Perhaps she was not so hurt and angry. She was not going to answer. She could not blame you could not blame her. So she would have read it, she felt maybe she did not feel hurt. No, she was so hurt that these people have written letter like this, so much they have troubled me and they're writing letter. Maybe she thought in her mind. Okay, that is what is said. Okay. You could not blame her. What is the meaning of you could not blame her? Nobody can blame her because the fault is entirely in the by Maddie and Peggy. Weeks went by and still Wanda did not answer. Peggy had begun to forget the whole business. And Maddie put herself to sleep at night, making speeches about Wanda, defending her from the great crowds of girls who were trying to tease her with how many dresses have you got? And before Wanda could press her lips together in a tight line the way she did before answering, Maddie would stop. Then everybody would feel ashamed the way she used to feel. So same thing which she has not done. These are all there in her mind. She should have protected, she should have spoken, she should have shouted. All these things are coming now. Okay? Yes. Everybody would feel ashamed the way she used to. Okay? Yes. Now it was Christmas time and there was snow on the ground. Christmas bags and small tree decorated the classroom. On the last day before the holidays, the teacher showed a class the letter that she had received that morning. Okay. Now what happened? Christmas again. So what are the children? Snow in the ground, Christmas bells and small tree were decorated. One Christmas tree and then decorated. Children were tying bells and decoratives. So it was the holiday. Christmas holidays are going to start. And there was a letter she had received in that morning. Okay. You remember Vanda Petronsky, the gifted little artist who won the drawing contest? Well, she has written to me, and I'm glad to know where she lives because now you can send her medal. I can send her medal also. I want to read her letter to you. I want to read her letter to you. The class sat up with a sudden interest and listened carefully. Look at the story. Look at the. You remember Wanda Petronsky, the gifted girl, little artist, who won the drawing contest? Well, she had written to me. She has written one letter, and I'm glad to know where she lives. So now her address is there. So now she can send the medal to her. Now let me read the letter. So she is the letter. Dear Miss Mason, how are you and room 30? Please tell the girls they can keep those 100 dresses because in my new house I have 100 new ones all lined up in my closet. I would like the girl Peggy to have the drawing of the green dress with the red trimming and her friend Maddie to have the blue one. For Christmas I missed at school and my new teacher does not equalize with you. Merry Christmas to you and everybody. Yours truly, Wanda Petronsky. Such a beautiful letter, is it not? Beautiful letter. She has expressed everything what she wanted. Okay. Please read everything loudly and come to the tomorrow's class. With this, I close. Thank you.